What if you're living in an empire you can't see? An empire not ruled by presidents or kings, but by faceless corporations whose names you barely know. Yet their power shapes every single moment of your day. From the glass towers of Wall Street to the shadowy boardrooms of offshore havens, these entities decide what you eat, where you work, how you travel, and even what you believe. Think about your morning routine. You tap your phone to pay for a coffee. That simple transaction is routed through a complex network of companies you've never even heard of. Your mortgage, your job, your retirement fund, all of it is quietly managed by the same handful of global giants. Their logos are everywhere, plastered on billboards and commercials, but their true influence is hidden, tucked away behind layers of shell companies, holding firms and silent partnerships. This isn't some far-fetched conspiracy theory. This is the fundamental architecture of modern capitalism. It's a web so vast and intricate that opting out is almost impossible. Every time you buy, sell, or save, you're plugging into the system, feeding this invisible empire. But how did we get here? How did we build a world where a few companies hold more power than entire nations? Let's travel back in time. The year is 1602. We're in Amsterdam. The Dutch East India Company has just launched the world's first publicly traded shares. Imagine a crowded, chaotic exchange. Merchants are shouting bids, their voices echoing off the high ceilings. Fortunes are being made and lost in a single afternoon. This moment marks the birth of the modern corporation, a new kind of entity with legal rights, immense power, and a life of its own, separate from its owners. Now, fast forward to 19th century America. The oil fields of Pennsylvania are burning with black gold and promise. A man named John D. Rockefeller is building an empire called Standard Oil. He swallows up his rivals, ruthlessly controls prices, and soon commands more wealth than many countries. In smoky backroom meetings, his lawyers perfect a revolutionary concept: limited liability. It's a legal shield that allows investors to pour money into a company and reap huge profits without risking their personal fortunes if things go south. The age of the monopoly has officially dawned. Governments, seeing this unchecked power, try to fight back. In 1911, a landmark decision by the US Supreme Court orders the breakup of Standard Oil. It seems like a victory for the little guy. But the pieces of the broken empire, companies you now know as Exxon, Mobil, and Chevron, don't just survive, they thrive. They grow even larger, spreading their influence across the entire globe, becoming the first true multinational corporations. By the mid-20th century, the Fortune 500 list is born, a roster of the biggest players in the game. Giant conglomerates like General Electric and ITT emerge, weaving their way into every corner of daily life, from the toaster in your kitchen to the satellites in orbit. Stock exchanges buzz with frantic activity, courtroom battles rage over antitrust laws. But the corporations only continue to grow more powerful, more complex, and more intertwined with our lives. But the real power isn't in the household brands, you know. It's in the networks you never see. Now step into the digital age. Picture a modern trading floor not filled with shouting traders, but lit by the glow of 1,000 screens. Algorithms are buying and selling billions of dollars in assets in the blink of an eye. But behind all this speed and noise, a much quieter revolution has been taking place. A revolution that has made just 3 companies the silent kings of the entire global economy. These aren't the tech giants or the big banks you're thinking of. They operate in the shadows, and their names are BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. They are the world's largest asset managers, and together they have quietly become the largest shareholder in nearly every major corporation on the planet. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. You probably don't see their names in the news every day, but their influence is everywhere. These 3 firms own a piece of nearly every major corporation you can think of. Tech giants, big banks, airlines, even the company that makes your breakfast cereal. How? Through index funds and ETFs, they collectively manage over $20 trillion in assets. That's more than the entire GDP of the United States. But it's not just about owning stocks, it's about control. Through a process called proxy voting, these firms quietly influence major boardroom decisions. They have a say in who becomes CEO, what corporate strategies are pursued, and even how companies respond to social and environmental issues. A single vote cast in a glass-walled conference room can send ripples through global supply chains, affecting jobs and prices around the world. This system operates in the shadows, part of what some call shadow banking. Money flows through complex networks of funds, shell companies, and offshore accounts, often far from the prying eyes of regulators. We saw the danger of this back in 2008. When Lehman Brothers collapsed, this intricate web of financial connections almost snapped, threatening to bring down the entire global economy. It raises a critical question. Who is really pulling the strings behind the world's biggest companies? And how did we get to a point where just 3 firms own a slice of everything, from our technology to our toothpaste? Even governments seem caught in this web. When a financial system becomes this interconnected and massive, what happens when it's too big to challenge? This isn't the first time we've faced concentrated power, but this time feels different. Think back to the monopolies of the past, like Standard Oil or AT&T. They were giants, no doubt, but they were visible. You could see their refineries, their logos stamped on barrels, their phone lines stretching across the country. Because they were visible, the public could rally against them, and governments could step in to break them up. Today's mega networks are a whole different beast. They're not a single company, but a vast, interconnected web of cross-ownership, silent partnerships, and digital connections. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street don't control just one industry. They own pieces of them all, from Silicon Valley startups to Main Street businesses. Imagine it visually. On one side, a black and white photo of a Standard Oil refinery, smoke billowing from its stacks, its name proudly displayed. Now, picture the other side, a sleek, modern server room. There are no logos, no tangible products, just data flowing silently. This represents the faceless index fund, quietly collecting dividends from thousands of companies, influencing them all, without ever needing a billboard. This raises a new question. Are these invisible networks even more powerful than the monopolies of yesterday? What lessons from past reformers did we forget? So if you can't really opt out of this system, your pension fund, your 401k, even the products you buy are likely tied to it, what can you do? How do you navigate life inside this invisible empire? This corporate web serves as both a warning and a challenge for our generation. History teaches us that every era has its giants, its networks, and its illusions of choice. The cycle of power, consolidation, and hidden control is a story as old as time itself. Today, as digital money and global platforms tighten their grip, the lines are blurring more than ever. The line between being a consumer and becoming the product, between being a citizen and a shareholder, is getting fuzzier every day. The real question is, will you learn to see the web, or will you just get caught in it? Is it even possible to opt out? Or is every card swipe, every online click, and every paycheck just another thread woven into this invisible empire? The answers are often hidden in the past, if you know where to look. Subscribe for more deep dives into hidden financial history and learn how to spot the next major power shift before it happens. Join us next time as we explore the story of a company that came dangerously close to losing control of the entire world. Thanks for watching.